Hello and welcome to episode 281 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you today from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and the day is 14th of November. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I've been absent from proper podcasts for quite a few weeks now, but it's been absolutely mad busy with the advents, which I'll talk to you again at the end of the podcast in the shop update section. So today we've got a little section at the beginning of the podcast where I'm going to go all through my knitting and crochet project bag, show you what I've got on the needles and the hooks, and sort of think, right, what have I got to work on in the next few weeks. So after I go through what I've got in my project bags, I'm then going to go through my patterns that I've got coming out on the 1st of December, or those of you who've purchased some of the advents, you get those on the 22nd of November, a little bit early compared to when it's being published on Ravelry on my website as well. So I'll go through those. I have a little section on sewing, which I'll talk about a tutorial that I've recently published, a blast from the past, which I'm wearing now, which I'll chat to you about in that section, a little gadget we've got, and a section for the what's occurring, and then of course my shop update at the end of the video with the little appearance from the Jensen at the very end of the video, with a couple of things that lovely people have sent us for him. So that's what we're going to have in this week's podcast. Hopefully going to be back to normal schedule now, because of all those advents being finished. But let's go on and show you what I've got in my project bag. So first of all, I have my Ariana cardigan. This is a pattern by Cristophers, and it's basically a crocheted panel cardigan, but with knitted cuffs and neckband, etc. But I haven't done the knit cuffs yet, but I have done all of the squares, which took me absolutely ages, and I was convinced on the last podcast, oh, I'll get it done by the next week, but then advents took over. But that's what it looks like so far. It is very pretty. I have used scraps of leftover yarn for this one. Obviously it needs to have the neckband and bottom band and cuffs on these. So I did make a few changes on this one. I made the sleeves a little bit shorter. I followed the instructions by a lady called Sarah on Ravelry, where she actually took the sleeve in a little bit. So the original pattern was like a bat wing sleeve, but I omitted one of the squares to make it a bit more tight around the arms, because some people said if they did that then they found it was a bit tight on their arms, but compared to my body, my arms are sort of narrower in relation to them, so I was absolutely fine with this. I always find that I'm either staying with the same sleeve size, I never find that they're too tight, or I have to go down a needle, I have to go down a size on the sleeves when I'm making a garment, so that was no problem for me. But if you've got arms that are sort of bigger in relation to your body, so I've got quite a big body and skinnier arms in relation, I wouldn't say skinny, maybe that's a strong word. But if your arms are slimmer in relation to your body, like me, then you'll be fine with this sort of adaptation of the pattern. And I did shorten the sleeve a little bit by taking one row of squares from the end of the sleeve, because I always like them to be sort of 3/4 length. So that is on the hook. Well, actually it will be on the needle soon, because obviously the cuffs and the button band are all going to be knitted, so that is in the works. I am keeping this in a big basket at the moment, but it was too big to sort of fit behind me, so I've kept it out of the basket of where all the yarns are. Next on my list is the Forestland sweater, which is in this bag, one of my older bags that I made absolutely ages ago. It's quite similar to one of the new Liberty prints, actually, this print. And this is how far I'd got with the Forestland sweater. So I was knitting this in my own hand-dyed yarn, and it has got these beautiful feathers on it, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm using two of my own colours. It's in the Night Shift and the Superstition colourway, or Superstitious, sorry, colourways there, that I think go together really nicely. I think I haven't touched this for ages, but I'd stuck to the normal needle size for what it said in the pattern for up here, but then I did go up slightly for the colour work, because I know I'm always a little bit tight when I'm knitting colour work, so I've gone up a little bit there, and as soon as I finish the colour work section I'll go back to the needles it suggested, because I didn't do a swatch, but I started knitting it and I measured my gauge and it seemed to be spot on, so that's good. I think if you can get to the point where you can measure it quite quickly, then sometimes you can just get going, and if it's not to gauge, you can just undo it and start again, because the neckband isn't too much work to start again. So that is what I've got so far with my Forestland sweater, which I absolutely love. Can't wait to get back working on that. I miss all these lovely garment projects. I really need to get some of those finished. So that's my second thing on my list. Pop that back up there. Wait, let's do a bit of crochet, mix it up a bit again, so we're alternating a little bit. I've got my basket with my Hexie Puff blanket on. I haven't done loads on this. Oh, I don't know, it's a little bit more than I remember actually. That's not too bad. You can see I've got a reasonable sized panel. What I was doing with this one is the pattern is written as a DK weight pattern, but I'm holding finger and weight double to use a lot of my little bits of scraps. But I'm keeping the colour scheme quite close, as this can go in our lounge. So the Hexie Puff pattern is by Sandra from the Cherry Heart podcast. She's got, I think you can get the actual pattern for free on a video tutorial on a YouTube channel, but if you want the whole layout of the blanket, there's a small fee for it. But I definitely recommend the pattern, to shows you exactly how much yarn you need for all the hexagons and the layout and etc. for the whole thing. But there we go, that is the front of the blanket, and that is the back. And again, I'm using a lot of my scraps of leftover yarn for this blanket, but to be honest, because I love these sort of colours so much, I do dye a lot of these colours anyway, so a lot of them are probably my own anyway. But there we go. I won't go through them all because it'll take me forever. So that is my basket that I'm keeping it in. You can see that it's already grown quite a lot, because I found some more yarns that go with this sort of colour scheme when I'd actually used quite a lot of the ones that I'd put in there originally. But there. So let's get back to some knitting. We have got several pairs of socks. So I've got several where I've got one finished. These are for Dad, and Mum was helping me knit on these. I've got two there that Mum's knitted the tubes that I need to add heels and toes on. This is a Cascade yarn, Heritage, in a sport weight yarn that I bought from Florida, that I wanted to knit socks for Adam. I hadn't got around to it, so Mum's knitted the basis, and I'm going to go back and do the heels and toes. This one is just a plain opal yarn. I've got the second one somewhere. I've knitted, well, me and Mum have done a cuff as well. So what I do is I do the cast on, Mum does the plain rib and the plain knit bits, and then I do the heels, heel turns, decreases and toe decreases as well, and finish it off. We have another one. So these are all a very simple pattern. I've used my simple top down sock pattern, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. This one is a hot socks yarn. I've only done, well, me and Mum have only done nearly one sock of this one. It looks quite nice in the ball, but that's a hot socks, Grundle hot socks yarn. I think I've got another bag of socks, so let's just look at those quickly first. Oh, there's only one more pair in here, and I've got one finished, and this was one that was kindly sent to me by a lady who watches the podcast, and I don't know if I've done with the ball band. I'll have to find it up for the next time I show these properly, but they're a beautiful sock yarn, and they've come up really nicely striping actually. I don't know what I've done with the ball band. I'll have to dig it out somewhere. Oh dear, I need to get myself a bit organised, but that is my socks that I've got on the needle. So that's possibly 4 pairs of socks. That's one in there, 2, 3, 4 pairs of socks on the go. I don't normally have quite so many socks on the go, but because me and Mum were doing it together, I was starting one off and getting her to do the next bit, but I've got to the point where all of them need me to do something. I just haven't had a chance to work on them, so that's why I've got so many on the needles. Oh, actually, this is the last one. I've got this project. I really should put this in an actual project bag rather than in the box that it came in, but this is the Joinery Shawl by Sharon, and it's a kit that I got from the East Anglia Yarn Festival from the Dragon Hill Studio stall, and it's got all the things that you need to make this shawl. Now, it isn't crochet and it's not knitting. Well, it sort of is. It's Tunisian crochet, and you've got the pattern and you've got 2 balls of yarn. This one This is in a bit of a mess at the moment, all tangled up, but this beautiful colours, and then a grey one. And I have started this, but then I got a bit, I don't know how I've got this tangled up in here so badly. I know what it is. Jensen's been in this box, I remember now. He was poking around in it and I didn't realise I want so much of a mess. I have literally done a tiny little bit and then I got a bit like, oh, I'm not happy with my tension. So I sort of ended up putting it down, but I will pick it back up. So it is a beautiful shawl. I saw a sample at the show and I just fell in love with it. So that's what I haven't gone back to it yet, but I will. I just need to have a little bit of patience, a few evenings where I really just get into learning the Tunisian crochet stitches. So I only spent a couple of hours doing that little bit. That's my first little bit of Tunisian crochet. So I'm sure I will get back into it. But these yarns are absolutely gorgeous and I will make sure that I sort out the box. And get on with it before too long anyway. I think my first priority really is to finish the Ariana cardigan, because that is so close. I just got to do the cuffs and the button band. How have I left that so long? So that is all the things that I've got sort of in my project bags that are sort of non-pattern related. But now I thought I'd go through all the sort of new patterns that I've got coming out on the 1st of December for everybody, or if you've bought one of the advents, one of them might be included in your advent. So if you do not want to see these patterns, skip along to the sewing section so you don't get any spoilers. So first of all, I shall show you the socks. So this is the Woodland Wonders sock pattern, which will go with the kit project bag and yarn set for the socks. Now I haven't got any spares of the sock and the bag kits just because the bags take so long to make. I just made enough to send off to those people that have pre-ordered. It's a little bit busy to show up the pattern very well, but you can see that there's a little forest of trees in there. This sort of pattern is very addictive to knit. I found that it's just really pleasurable to knit. That's what I was trying to do with these sort of set of patterns, is to design things that are a real pleasure to knit and that are not too complicated, because quite often people message me and say, oh, I hope it's not going to be too complicated for me. But this is, as lace goes, this is pretty simple. And I've designed it to be stripy, but you don't have to do the stripy areas, but it is written in the pattern. There's a stripy bit on the toe, just here, and on the top as well, but you can just do that in one yarn. This yarn is from Giddy Yarns, and it was from one of her colour of the months from last year, and I just fell in love with this, and it was a scene in the snow with a little fox, so I had to purchase it. At the foot of the sock you can really see how beautiful the yarn is. There we go, that is the Woodland Wonders sock pattern. I will be knitting up another pair of these so you can see the pattern a little bit better in and some of the test knitters have done some in quite plain yarn so you can see the lace detail a little bit better. But that is the Woodland Wonders sock pattern. I then have the Frost cowl, which is for to go with the Frostbites advent, and it's just a very simple single wrap cowl with a snowflake on the side made of bobbles. I think you could always omit the bobbles if you really didn't want to do them, but this is, I've done quite a snug fitting one this time, just so that you can just tuck it around your face a little bit when it is really cold. And I designed it as well. I have written the instructions to do it in 12 minis rather than just one colour, but on this first sample I did it in one colour, and this is in my Frosty the Snowman because I thought that would be appropriate. So that's in the Frosty the Snowman colourway. You cannot see the bobbles as well as if you do it with a contrast colour in the bobbles, and I would advise actually to do the bobbles in a contrast colour if you do knit this, because it makes the bobbles a little bit neater if they are in a separate yarn. But it is again a very pleasurable knit because a lot of it is very simple. You just got those bobbles, and I did think that when I sort of designed it you might get a bit bored of it, but when I was actually knitting the sample up myself, I actually really enjoyed getting to the next rounds where the bobbles were. So you might find that actually they're not as tedious as you think doing lots of bobbles. So there we go, that is the cowl pattern. I will hopefully pop a few pictures of the test knitters pictures on the screen so that you can see what they look like in different colours, especially ones where they've done the bobbles in a different colour, and then you can see it a little bit better. So the next one I've got to show you is the shawl pattern to go with the 24-day advent. Now the sample I've got here is not quite finished yet, because it's quite a big project to complete, but the units that make up this shawl are very, very simple. Now this is based, because the advent was the woodland wonders, I wanted to make it related to woodland. So the first thing that I thought of was pine cones, and now the pine cone is called a strobilus. So each of the segments on a pine cone is sort of this shape, so that's what inspired me to do this shape. And then you've got a big row of them. Now I've done this in rainbow colours. I'm just about getting to the sort of yellow section, but I've almost finished this sample, but Jensen really wanted me to do it in rainbow colours, so I had to do this one in rainbow colours. This is knitted in scraps from my stash. Each section takes 10 grams of fingering weight yarn or 20 grams of DK, so that's what it looks like so far, and it will look like something like this when it's on. Let's just chuck the needles over my shoulder. But it's a nice simple knit. It's knitted flat backwards and forwards, and once it's blocked you can block those points out a little bit more, but it's a nice simple shawl. You could potentially make it into a cowl if you wanted to, actually, by just repeating the units and then joining it at the ends. But that is more or less what it looks like, but it'll look better when I've actually blocked it, but you get an idea of what it'll look like. So there we go. I'm really pleased with how lovely and pleasurable this is to knit. Each of the sections takes me between an hour and a half to 2 hours in an evening, so that's really doable for sort of an advent pattern. And once you've done one section you can easily repeat them over and over. But there we go. That is this year's advent pattern for the 24-day advent. So I've just chucked the ball somewhere, but I'll find it later. So those are the patterns that are going to come out on the 1st of December for everybody else, but the people that have already purchased one of the advents, you'll get an email through on the 22nd of November. I may as well quickly mention that I do have the pattern out for the Alternathumb mittens it was in October sometime, so I do have the pattern out on my website on Ravelry if you want to have a go at these. So they're designed so that they're fitted around the thumb. I would suggest that if you are a bit unsure about what size to knit, I would go for the slightly snugger size if you're sort of on between sizes, because it fits nicely around the thumb then. There's like a gusset shape, fits nicely around the thumb. There's some cable details on the front which actually shows better on the plain yarn, but I do like the colours of this one. This is knitted in sort of a small, and this is the medium size, but there's a few sizes that you can choose from. And then you could always, if you have got quite chunky arms like me, you could go for a larger needle size on the arm of the mitten and then go down a needle size to sort of fit your cuff, but the rest of the instructions are in the pattern. So there we go, that is all my patterns. I've done a lot of pattern designing this year, I feel. I've really enjoyed it actually. I should really do a little bit more pattern designing, I think. The trouble is it takes a lot of time. Right, next to the sewing section. So I did do a little mini tutorial on how to make this cute little hand sewn pin cushion. Now this is the very basic version of a cathedral window panel, which I've made into a cushion and done it double-sided, and I've used some of the Liberty fabrics that I've got in stock in the shop, and I did put together some kits to make these if you are interested in making it out of the exactly same fabrics. So I was planning on showing how to make these units into some other things, because you could make an entire quilt out of those blocks if you wanted to, but it's the basic unit, that one unit that I show in the video, that you can follow, and then you could just join them together. But this time I chose to do just a little pin cushion to make it nice and easy and manageable. So that video is on this YouTube channel. And I did actually, just when I mentioned that, I did do another free tutorial on how to do the 7 pocket bag as well, if you are interested in doing a little bit of sewing. And they're both free tutorials, but I did put some kits together so that you could purchase all the things you needed to make those things if you were interested. But I wanted to make it free out there so that you guys could have a little bit of a dabble if you've got a lot of stash already. So that is my sewing section, and I'm going on to my blast from the past section now. Now I am wearing the said garment. I will stand up so you can see it a little bit better. I did a video last week on modifying this t-shirt. Now, when it was finished, this jumper was very big around the neck, and I am very surprised actually of how much that's brought it in, but not too much so that it won't go over my head. So if you watched last week's video tutorial, I did some crochet chain stitch on the inside of the neckline to bring it in because it was very big and baggy. So I got Liz to knit this from yarns from my stash. I think it was during sort of COVID time, and Liz knitted it for me, and I just said to her to knit, I don't know what size it was, but I didn't get her to gauge swatch, and I thought it'll be alright, it can just be an oversized t-shirt I can wear. But then when it was finished, it was quite a big neckline, and I found that the armholes were gaping an awful lot. So I just didn't feel comfortable wearing it. So what I did is I did the chain stitch on the inside of the neckline, and then I actually took the t-shirt inside out and got my sewing machine and stitched on the inside to take it in a little bit because it was just too big under here. See, I've still kept it quite large at the bottom, but just under the arm was just really annoying me, and I really wasn't reaching for it. But I love these colours, so I thought, right, I've got to fix this, so I'm actually going to wear it. So if you watch the video, you can see exactly how I did it, but I am really pleased. I was a bit worried that I hadn't took enough off the sleeve, but actually now I've blocked it and I sort of stretched out the length a little bit. That hasn't come out too big at all. It is slightly on the loose side compared to, like, there is a little bit of positive ease, but by no means is that too big. It's just nice and snuggly. The length maybe is slightly on the long side, but to be honest, sometimes it's nice to have something long, especially when you're feeling all meh. So I'm so pleased how that came out. When I first overlocked the sides after I'd done the zigzag stitch first, it went a little bit wibbly, and the blocking I think has taken most of that out. And I'm definitely going to wear it lots and lots and lots. So that is the Summer Sorrel, and it's by Wool and Pine. Now the yarns that I used was Legless Flamingo by Stranded Dye Works, and I remember that one because it just seemed like quite a funny name. And then this one here, this corally colour, was a Ducky Darlings yarn, and then I had this one at the bottom, and this yarn is by Hedgerow Yarns, and I can't remember what that colourway either is, I'm afraid, but at least I remember what shops I got them from. But I remember trying to put yarns together during COVID and putting the yarns that I got in my stash, and I was really pleased that I think these 3 went together quite nicely. There is a bit of coral in the bottom one, and I thought having the light bit up here rather than by the hips was a little bit more flattering. Having the darker down at the bottom would be a bit more flattering for me. So there we go. That is the blast from the past. And hopefully you'd find the little tutorial, well not tutorial, vlog of how I modified this t-shirt helpful from last week. I did do a separate video on how to stabilise a neckline, which I went into more detail, which I'll leave a link to in the description bar down below as well. But there we go, that is my blast from the past. So the gadget for this week is to do with double-pronged pins. Now, for a while I had been using these Clover double-pronged pins, but I could not find where I could get them to stock them in my shop. But then I found, so these ones have got double prong and they're just a loop at the top. See if I can get a bit closer. There we go. So they're just loop at the top, double pronged. So when you're trying to match seams, you can put those pins either side of a seam. It's a lot easier to get seams to match up. but I couldn't get hold of these, so I was looking for a while and I found that the magic pins do a version of these, but they've got a grip on, which I think is slightly easier to grab hold of. So I found some of these that I've been able to stock in the shop now, and I've been using my box for a couple of weeks and they work equally as well to the ones with just the loop, and because they've got this purple grip, they are easier to use and hold on to, a bit more ergonomic. So they come in this really cute little box. So I have stocked these in the shop, and I have, because I thought that they were such a nice idea, I've also stocked some of the sort of single prong pins as well, which have got like a blue handle, but I've only stocked the very fine ones because these are the pins that I really like. They're not as fine as silk pins, but they just run a lot smoother. They work a lot smoother with quilting cotton. So I have boxes of those and the double prong pins in the shop as well. But I definitely recommend either these ones that I've stocked in the shop, or if you get the clover ones, they work just as well. These are just a little bit easier to grab hold of though. So those are my little gadget for the week. So if you, especially useful if you're doing my project bag pattern and you're doing the one with a contrast bottom, where you're trying to get the panels for the top and the bottom to match up at the sides of the bag. That's what I use mine for mostly. But if I'm doing dressmaking as well, sometimes I use them. So they're quite handy. They come in a little, so that's what they look like on the card, but they do come in the handy little case that you can keep them in, which is really lovely. And they're much easier to see if you drop them on the floor. So there we go, that is the gadget for this week. I will move on to what's occurring. So we have loads of Barbara's Day Out booked. I've sort of got to the point now where I feel like I've got a bit more time to be able to sort of do more regular Barbara's Day Out meetings. So we're going to do them once a month, or at least try to. So we've got the 17th of November, which is this Sunday coming, at 1 till 4 at Dunstan Hall in the Terrace Bar, like we usually meet. And then we've got the same venue, Dunstan Hall, on the 8th of December as well, 1 till 4. So that's 2 dates booked for Dunstan Hall. But then I've also decided that we should try some different venues. So lovely Caroline found that there was a really nice venue in Swaffham that we could try, and that's easy for quite a few of the ladies that have already come to the Dunstan Hall venue to get to. So we thought we'd try it and see what it's like. They've kindly going to let us borrow a room without charging us for sort of hiring the room. We just can have cups of tea and coffee or what have you, but I sort of need to know numbers. So if you are coming to that one, I need to know whether you are coming or not. But if you normally come to the regular meetings, I can ask you at the next meeting. So that is the 12th of January at the Best Western George Hotel in Swaffham, 1 till 4 p.m. But I will write all the details on, actually, if I put them on my website and put a link in the description bar down below to that website, then I can just update that one to show you when the meetups are going to be. But isn't that exciting? Thank you so much for coming, if you do come to some of these meetings. One, we had, the most recent one, we had a meetup at Venetia's yarn shop in Fakenham, which was really, really lovely, and we got to look at some lovely yarns, and I might have purchased something. I did actually purchase a kit that I'm going to give away in a minute, so I'm going to show you that in a minute, but I just need to tell you about some more giveaways first. So the subscriber giveaway winners, I haven't drawn them for October and November, so I'm going to do 2 all at once. To win these prizes, all you have to do is subscribe to my email list, and you just pop over to my website, comes up with a pop-up on the screen, put your details in, or if you miss the pop-up, if you just scroll down to the bottom of the page, there is a box there where you can put your email in, and when you will just get email updates whenever I've got new things in the shop or I've got something interesting to share with you. So the winner for October is Rachel from Oldham, and the winner for November is Susan from Beaminster. So congratulations both of you two. We've got 2 UK winners this time, but it's not restricted to the UK, it can be anywhere around the world you can enter. So as long as you're subscribed to my email list, you're in with a chance of winning. So I have a little box that I purchased from Venetia's in Fakenham. I had to buy something because there were so many lovely things, and I thought, I've got lots and lots of yarn at home. What I will do is I'll purchase a prize for you guys instead. So I purchased this lovely kit to make a pair of mittens, and everything you need is in there in terms of yarn and pattern. Obviously you'll need some needles, but the yarn is Norfolk horn, made in Norfolk, which is really lovely. And Norfolk horn, if you don't know, is a sort of a rare breed that's obviously Norfolk because it's Norfolk horn. And it's just really nice that someone's put together such a lovely little kit, and it's from a Fibre Workshop. Let me just open the box for you so you can see what's inside. So you have the pattern for the birch mittens there, written instructions, and then you've got these two lovely cakes of yarn, a lovely green and a lovely cream. It's got all these packing cardboard here. You can see how lovely those colours are. I thought just that's a lovely little subtle kit that I thought you guys might like. So to win this little kit, oh, there's also a little postcard in there with the details of the Fibre Workshop on there, fibreworkshop.co.uk. so that's all going to be in the kit, and for a lucky winner I will post it to you anywhere in the world, so you don't have to be in the UK. And what you need to do is just comment on this video what is your favourite colourwork pattern, and I'll just pick a winner in the next episode and I'll get this sent over to the lucky winner. So there we go. That is the prize for this time. I won't do prizes every time, but if I pop somewhere and see something lovely that I want to share with you guys. So we're on to the shop update section now. So I have got some leftover advents that I dyed sort of extra just in case some had gone missing, but now they've all pretty much got to the destination, apart from two I think I'm waiting for, and I've held those couple back, but the rest are listed on my website. If you are subscribed to my email list, you will have already got an email yesterday or the day before telling you that there were some spares available and leaving you a link, but now obviously it's open to everybody. So if you are subscribed to my email list, you get the information first. So I will talk about advents in a bit, because I'm going to show you a couple of the advents in the boxes. I'm going to leave it till the end in case people don't want to look at the box or the bag that's included, if you want to keep it as a complete surprise. But I thought sometimes it might be nice to give you an idea of what's in there if you are interested. So I will leave that till the end of the video, just before Jensen's section. And I'll talk about a few other things first. So there are going to be a few new things in the shop this week, which will be tomorrow, the 15th of November at 7 PM GMT. I've got a few new pin badges going in the shop. Really cute little teapot with leaves. We've got a skein of yarn. We've got a handmade with love pin with a load of yarn and needles, and then a little pin with tea love on it. So those four will be going in the shop. I have also obviously got these new types of pins that I talked to you about in the gadget section. Those will be going in the shop as well. And the third thing is I've got a whole host of new opal yarns. Oh my goodness. I have got some 4-ply and 6-ply opal yarns. So when they say 6-ply, it's just a DK weight of opal, basically. So you get 150 grams in the DK weight versions of the 6-ply opal yarn, and this collection is called the Festival collection. So they're all related to sort of a music festival. Some of them are called things like security and live music and camping and band shirt. So those ones are all festival related. I thought they'd got a really nice range of colours in this collection. The other collection is a 4-ply yarn, and the collection is all related to my favourite place. So there's one yarn that's like an autumnal leafy scene, and then there's like a fire pit camping, and there's a little kitten snuggled up in a bowl, and a little puppy on a bicycle, so for bicycle rides I assume, a garden, a beach scene, and beautiful lake in the mountains, and a snowy camping scene. Really attractive colour schemes there that go with some beautiful landscapes, so I had to have those in the shop as well. I don't always stock all of the opal collections, depending on whether I am attracted to the colours or not, so these two I was particularly attracted to. So they will all be in the shop from tomorrow, the 15th of November at 7 PM GMT. So it won't be until 7 PM tomorrow that these will be listed in the shop. before I talk about the advents, I just wanted to mention that the December yarn clubs will be in the shop on the 22nd of November. They will be listed at 7 p.m. GMT on the 22nd of November, so that is next Friday. But I just thought I'd give you a heads up on this. So the colour of the month is going to be inspired by the song Wild Thing by the Trogs. And then we've got the pop star of the month for December is George Michael. And then we've got the music from the movies, film inspiration is Home Alone, because obviously it's like Christmassy time. So I will put some pictures on social media over this next week or so that you can see what the inspiration colours are exactly. So advents, I'm not going to show you obviously the yarns inside the bags, but I'm going to show you just inside the box so you can tell what you've got in each of these boxes. So the first one I'm going to show you is the 12 days advent. If you do not want to see the bag that comes with it, I would skip along to the section with Jensen in if you don't want to see it now, because I'm going to show the actual bag that comes with it so you get an idea of what it's going to be like. So in your box you will get a little card with the frostbites information, and then you get this cute little bag I've specifically had printed for the frostbites collection. It's a little drawstring in a teal colour, and then your minis are all in these cute little blue bags. And they've got a little snowflake on, so they're all ready for you to open. I don't tend to do boxes because I worry that they're going to get damaged. If they get sort of knocked on the corner, then it sort of ruins them, so I'd rather have a little bag to go with it. So that's what comes with your little advent. I also have a little extra with these, which I'll leave that until you open them at home, but I haven't put the extras in on these ones yet. And I normally put my advents in tissue paper and then in one of these fold up boxes, because I do like how they sort of close like so. They sort of open at the top there. So that's what you would get through the post. For the 24-day advent, it's a bigger box like this. Like I've written in pencil exactly what's in there, what base it is on the top. So you open up your box and there will be tissue on the top of these, but I haven't put the tissue on these yet because I haven't put the little extras in yet. You get the Woodland Wonders little card with the imagery that inspired the actual advent. Then you have the bag, which I'll show you properly in a minute, and then you've got all your little minis in there. So in the 12 and the 24-day advents, you'll get a few little minis in there, little surprise extras. But the 24-day advent, you will get a kit to do a little bit of hand embroidery, very basic hand sewing, to make a little hanging to go on either the Christmas tree. It's like a little sort of festive thing that you can make. I'm not telling you anymore. In one of these days, which is kept as a surprise. So these little bags, they've got a little tree. They've got a little tree printed on them, and they're all lined up in order so that they're ready to open for your 24-day advent. So I'll show you this bag that comes with the 24-day advent. I was especially pleased with this one because it's a big tote bag. So it's a nice big tote bag with a gusset on the side, plain on the back. But I thought that picture of the really beautiful reindeer silhouette looked really nice up against the tree line. So there we go, that's what comes with the 24-day advents. With the 12-day advents, you've obviously got the cowl pattern. With the 24-day advent, you've obviously got the shawl pattern. And I do have some weekly advents, which is 100-gram skein times 4 packaged up for each week in December for you to open, and then they're obviously full skeins with a few little bits and bobs in there for us as a little surprise as well, but they don't come with a pattern. The 12 and the 24-day kits do. So hopefully that gives you a better overview of what you actually get in one of these kits. Just bear in mind, it's better if you order over the weekend. I can get them sent out Monday morning, and they will hopefully then get to you in time if you live internationally. What I am doing for the shop now is if you spend over £100 in the UK, you get free postage, and then internationally if you spend £160 you get free postage as well. So I have put my hand-dyed yarns, some of them back in the shop because I'd taken them down for a while because it was mad busy with the advent. There are some colourways back in the shop, including the Christmas colourways, including Mistletoe Kisses, All I Want for Christmas Is You, Rockin' Robin, and all those sort of colourways are available in the shop again. So they're mostly dyed to order, so they might be a week or two before I ship them, so do bear that in mind. Or if you order them as early as possible, I'll try and get those dyed up and sent out as quickly as possible. All of my sort of parcels rather than large letters are sent tracked, so you should be able to see where they are. I will be popping up the last shipping dates before Christmas soon. I know it sounds really early, but I need to prepare. I will be popping a list of the shipping dates for Christmas if you need something to be shipped before Christmas in the UK or internationally, so you know when you need to actually place your order for it to get there before Christmas. So the vlog next week might be on the Sandringham Christmas Craft Fair, because there's lots of lovely crafty things at a Christmas craft fair, and the Sandringham one is amazing. So I will vlog that and get that up for you next Thursday instead of a podcast video. It gives me time to get a bit of content for the week after. But now it's over to you, Jensen. Hello, Jensen. Say hello to everybody.
Hello.
What have you got to show everybody? What have you got new? You've got your turtle, and you've got your blanket for your turtle. That Sam made you your little sea turtle, and you've been putting it on the little blanket. Show us how you put it on the little blanket. That's it. It's basically a piece of wadding, isn't it, Jensen? Which got taken from my craft room from somewhere, goodness knows where. And you love that, don't you? Yeah. What else have you got to show everybody? An empty box of chocolates, that's not it. It's your new socks on your feet, isn't it? Show us your lovely socks. Look at those lovely socks. Sheila made those for you, didn't she? She made a brilliant job of them, and they're, I think they're West Yorkshire spinners. Yeah. But aren't they pretty colours?
Yeah. They're more bottom. They're
What colour are they?
rainbow.
They're like a rainbow, but they're only a couple of colours, so they're not all of the colours of the rainbow. There's yellow and red, isn't there?
Yeah. Green. Red, brown, yellow, red, brown, yellow, green, red, brown.
Brilliant! Can you say thank you to Sheila and Sam for making you those things? Brilliant. And can you say bye-bye to everybody?
Bye.
So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!